Hi all, today we will continue the development of our app and we will start to create the UI for it. We will create a Vue application, we will install Tailwind CSS and we will create the home view. Before we go into that, at the end of last video, I promised that in this one I will show you the finished requests for the Photos API in case you didn't manage to do them by yourself during the past week. By the way, I have no idea if you watch this video just to see what is possible to develop using your iPad, or you actually want to practice your Node and Vue skills. I would really appreciate if you could tell me in the comments below. So now let's get going. I started with the create photo requests. For this, I filled in the body for it. If you remember, in our photos controller, we choose a folder UUID so that we pass in the folder in which the photo will be uploaded. So here, if I just remove this folder ID that we totally don't need because it will be filled in by itself, and let's call this, instead of image2, let's image2 delete because we'll delete it later. We put it in this folder, we send a request, and now as you can see the folder ID is 2. I chose to get in the folder ID in the request just to show you in this video how it goes. We can also choose to ignore it in our JSON response, but for the purpose of this video we can leave it there for now. The same for the ID of the photo we can remove like we did for the folder, but once again, like I said, just for the educational purposes I chose to leave it there. Now if we go and we try to get all photos, I refresh, as you can see quite a few of them as I tried our API, all under the same folder. If we take a photo by UUID, let's say this one here, actually let's just take the photo that we set photo to delete. So I'm gonna copy the UUID from here, and here in the get photo by UUID, paste it right in here, refresh, there you go, image to delete. Now if I'm gonna choose to update this photo as well, we create a put request, we pass in the ID of the photo we want to modify. In the body we say modified image for the name so that we can see that we updated our photo, refresh, and you can see now we have modified image. Lastly, let's also delete this image and let's create this request together. So I'm going to create a new request of type delete, pass in the photo ID, delete photo for the name, and you can see it's a copy paste issue, it's folder deleted, it should be image deleted. And to prove that we have deleted this image, if we go to get all photos, there is no modified image anymore. This is a previous one that I created, the one with ID 5 that we just saw, it's removed. So let's remember to actually update the message here and put photo deleted. Great, now that we have done that, let's move further with creating our Vue application. So we will go into Blink. I already connected to my Raspberry Pi, and here the first thing we need to do is to initialize the Vue project. How do we do that? First we will install -g, and I'm gonna say here Vue client, and we will have to wait a bit. If you get the same error as I got, just do a sudo npm install -g Vue/client. Great, now that this is installed, let's create our photo album client. So I'm gonna say Vue create photo album client. If you have this, just choose no. We will select here manually select features, we keep in bubble, we will choose not to install linter and formatter. And by the way, in order to choose what to install and what to not install, just press space and it will select or deselect what you want. Let's proceed. Here we choose of course Vue 3, we choose dedicated config files, and we choose no for keeping these presets for future projects. And now we have to wait until our project is initialized. Now if we're gonna list everything we have, we can see that the photo album client has been created. Let's go inside the photo album client and see what we have in there. And here we see that we have the Vue app. Now because I'll have to start two apps now, I will have to start the server, which is the Node server, and the client, which is the Vue client. We will need to install concurrently in the root folder, so not in the client folder but in the root folder. So for that we will run npm install concurrently. Now if we will check our package.json, to see if we installed it. We see that concurrently has been already installed. Now we go back to our client, and the last thing I want to do is to add the Tailwind as a plugin using Vue client. We will select yes here. We will select minimal. Cool. Now that we have everything installed, let's open VS Code and start cleaning up a bit the application and move on with creating our home view. We will start code server as we did before using localhost 8080. Put the password for your VS Code, and there we go. We have the photo album here, and as you can see we have the client. We said that we need to remember one thing, and that was when we delete the photo, update the message to photo deleted. Okay, done that. Let's close everything. And one thing I want to do is in the package JSON of the main application, so of the server, one thing I will need to do is to modify a few commands. So for the server we had node-mon server.js, and we need to also here do -- ignore the folder in which we created the photo album. So photo album -cli. That's one thing that we need to do. Now we also need to start to create a command to start the client. So I'm gonna create a command here, which I'm gonna say npm run serve -- prefix, and here I'm gonna say photo album client. And now, because I want to make it simple whilst we do development, I'm gonna create a command dev in which I will run both the server and the client, and that's why we installed concurrently plugin. So here I'm gonna say concurrently we will have npm run server and npm run client. And that's it for our modifications. Now let's see if this works. So if we go to the photo album here, and then we're gonna say npm run dev. So we see the server has started. Now we are building the application. Let's see if that will work. And we see that our application runs on localhost 8081. So now if we start the browser and we say http 10.55.01 on port 8081, we have our Vue application running. And this is what we have done thus far. Now with a bit of cleanup and creating the home view, this will look completely different. Now we can just press Ctrl+C to stop everything because we still need some cleaning up to do. So if we open the folder photo album client, in the components we see that we have this hello world view. We definitely don't need it, so I'm gonna delete this permanently. And in the app.view we have to remove a few things related to hello world. So here in the template we'll remove both the Vue logo and the hello world. We'll leave it empty for now. We will remove the import hello world from the app view. Actually we can remove all this script thing here. Yeah, now looks more like it. So now here under source components we'll create a new file called header.vue, and this will be the header of our app. We chose to create a different component, not put all the HTML and the template in the home view that we will create, because this is something that we will reuse. I will copy paste everything for the template because we're not here to write HTML. We just want to learn how to use Node.js and Vue JS on the iPad. As you can see here, we use a lot of classes from Tailwind. That's why we installed Tailwind. So one plugin we need to install is Venture, which is a great plugin for Vue JS. This will help us with syntax, highlighting, and everything else that we need to work with Vue JS. It will also give us some code snippets. It's great. Now you see our Vue file is actually highlighted. Now the next thing we will do is to create a new folder under the source folder in the client called views. Here we will keep our main views, and the first one that we said that we will do is our home.view. And here if I click view, I get the main template with a template, a script, and a style. Now in the template I want to create a div with class home, and here in this div I just want to get the header component. I want to display the header component because for now we'll just show the header. And in order to be able to do that, what we need to do is to import header from, we have components / header.vue. Oh, I put it in the wrong place, sorry. It should be above the export. Now in the export default function we have to add the name of our component, which is home, and we have to define all the components that we use in this home view, and for this one we have only header for now. And this is it for home view. Now in the app.view I want to add a router view, and I want to add a bit more styling. I'll just copy paste it. It's a bit more styling for the navigation. So we need to install Vue Router with Vue Add Router, and in case it asks you for use history mode for router, we select yes. In case you have this error, once again just do a sudo Vue Add Router. So now we see that we have under the views the home view and about view. This we will definitely delete them both. We only need our own home view. Now here in the navigation we will delete everything from the app.view. Now in index.js, as we see when we install the router, it creates all these changes. So we have to change it back to use home, and here it will be home.view. So here it will be again home and capital H home. This we remove the about path. Now let's see if our app works. npm run dev, it's running on localhost 8081, and as you can see now we have the title, which is my photo album. We can style it a bit more in the future. For now it looks good. We have our search to search for photos, and we have the albums and all photos here as the header of the application. So I think for now we are done for this video. I have showed you how to install Vue JS, how to install Tailwind CSS, how to make a Vue JS application work in our current Node application. All this only done using our iPad and our Raspberry Pi. Just an addition at the end of this video is that using Blink shell helps a lot on navigating between the terminal on the Raspberry Pi or another server if you choose to, and the code server application, and that is really nice to work with. It makes it really easy to develop and also use a full-fledged terminal to debug your application and start your application. I really hope that you found this video informative and that you really enjoyed it. If you did, or if you have any suggestions, please take a moment to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm so that more people can benefit from this course. Also, please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button to receive notifications when the next video will be released. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.